outlook is getting better and better. It looks like the weekend will finally be sunny and warmer, maybe even up to normal, which is near 80, but certainly, say, between 70 and 75. We're going to be in the 50s tonight, the 60s tomorrow, and then hopefully the 70s on the Saturday and Sunday. Now, there may be a few showers tonight in southern Ontario and maybe a couple tomorrow, but eastern Ontario and southern Quebec should stay in the clear. We've had, as you know, thrust after thrust of cool air come down upon us. And the latest one, which yesterday was to the west of us, is now just going to the east of us. And this would appear to be the final one, with no more big waves moving along. The last wave, which was coming in over us, is now represented by that. So the heart of that large dome of cold air is here, and we should be in for a good flow from the west and northwest for a while, which guarantees us no wet weather. And that's opposing a nice warm southerly flow all on the perimeter. It'll be a while, I guess, before this gets into us, once the cold air decides to retreat. Now, the temperatures on the south side were warm. 70, 75, 80s along the Atlantic seaboard, 90s throughout the south country here. 90s, 100s down in the southwest, 100s up in the northwest United States, 100 in the interior of BC, 90 up here, 80 here, and even in Nunavik at the top of the map here, most of the Mackenzie Valley was 70. Now, contrast that or compare it with 70 at Ottawa, Montreal, 70 in southern Ontario, but 50 was the figure that is most representative in the afternoon all across the prairies in northern Ontario. Firstly, it was 80 and 90 in Alberta yesterday, if you remember, and records too, and they went down, fell 40 degrees to get to only 50 today. The morning temperatures all across here were in the frosty 30s, and that's record, and these 50s will likely be record as well. Farther north it was 40, same latitude as your 80 on this side. And even here it was warmer along the Labrador coast, and on Gava it was 65 degrees. As far as water, showers occurred with the front and left a third of an inch at Montreal, but only traces, smaller amounts at Ottawa, Montreal. There are a few showers there along the front. There are a few behind the front, particularly in southern Ontario, but they should dissipate. There are some waves, but these are expected to be minimal, so maybe a shower or two later tonight and part of tomorrow. But basically, it is high-pressure weather that is moving in. In the United States, everything is bright and balmy, but there are a few clots of heavy thunderstorm cloud around, which you'll see very soon. Otherwise, it's bright. I think I've covered the map, so let's cover the photographs. This is the noon shot, not the moon shot, because basically this is taken in and around noon. And here you have Montreal and Ottawa and Toronto, and this is the frontal cloud that lying over them at the time, but it's since moved east. Imagination is good. You can see the front following the pencil, and then it thickens up on the west side where it moved in to cut them down from their 90s here to 80s. And look at how that gray cold air mass is just filled with all kinds of cloud that is more or less spongy, not an even overcast. And south of that, it's all basically blue and bright and hot, and your clots of thunderstorm clouds I showed earlier are right in here. These are your CBs, standing for cumulonimbus or cloud burst. And on the forecast board, there is a front to the south of us, so tonight and tomorrow and for the rest of the weekend, perhaps a westerly flow, overnight 50s for the tonight and perhaps the tomorrow night, and in the 60s tomorrow, and then in the 70s hopefully on the weekend. So we're in for